It seems like forever ago that the Knicks were on a 9-game win streak. Since then, they've gone 3-6, including this current 3-game losing streak. 2 games lost this week that were very winnable games, but of course it's the Knicks, so they couldn't pull it out. It was fool's gold, and I bought it. You're tuned in to Knicks Digest. Plain and simply put, the Knicks tricked me. They were coming off that 9-game win streak, and I really thought this was a legit team. Not a team that's going to win a championship. I thought this was a team that was capable of winning the games they were supposed to win and possibly getting out of that first round. I was very bold in that time frame, coming off those 9 straight wins, feeling like the only team that we should definitely be worried about is the Bucks. I thought we beat the Celtics, then we could beat the Celtics again in the best of 7. We can beat the Philadelphia 76ers in the best of 7. The Cleveland Cavaliers, please, easily will get past them. I may have been wrong. I'm not afraid to say it. And you know what? It wasn't that they were a good team. You know, I know a lot of people will see this and hear this and say, I'm exaggerating, I'm making a fuss out of nothing. Yes, it's a 3-game losing streak, but that's how the NBA is. You win some, you lose some. But no, they're not a bad team, okay? They've made great strides, but during that 9-game win streak, there was a lot of luck involved. Please save me the you got to be good to be lucky. I'm sorry, there was a lot of luck involved in that 9-game win streak. There was a lot of players who didn't play that helped them get those wins. And now that, you know, everybody seems to be rounded into shape, specifically a team they played this week in the Miami Heat. They were very injured when the Knicks played them. And now the Heat coming back to full strength. They look leaps and bounds better than the Knicks. Okay? I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. Like, I take everything back. It's not just the Bucks that we need to worry about. It's everybody. The Knicks fooled me. It was fool's gold. This is not a team that I'm ready to see in the second round of the playoffs. This is not a team that anybody should be afraid of. This is a team that people may be hoping that they face because it looks like they're falling apart right now. 3-6 in the last 9 games. I can understand if you're losing to teams that are in the same position as you in the playoffs looking for better seeding, but you're losing to the Hornets. Your last loss was against Orlando, teams with nothing to play for, teams that you should easily be handling, and that is simply not happening. And I mean, look at Stephen A. That's why his hairline keeps getting pushed back. Look at me. That's why there's no hair atop of my head right now. We need some, before we go into the games that they lost this past week, I need just something to cheer me up. Bing bong! I don't know why, but seeing this large man just gives me a little bit of joy. Pause, extra pause. Nonetheless, let's get into it. Let's start with that game against Miami. This was the first of 2 matchups that the Knicks have in 7 days against the Heat. The next one will be coming up this Wednesday. They came out fighting, all right? So it was an actual competition. It felt like playoff basketball with, again, the Miami Heat finally getting some key players back and looking like a full-strength team. So this was a good matchup for the Knicks to see how they fared against a team that almost made it to the championship very recently. Ultimately, when it came down to it in crunch time, the Knicks just couldn't compare. You can't compete where you don't compare. Plain and simple, the Knicks needed a lot of help and they didn't get it. They got practically nothing from their bench. 3 points from Obi Toppin. Hartenstein, we're not looking for him to score many points. We look to him for rebounds. We look to him to be that second center, that other defensive presence when Mitchell Robinson isn't in the game. And quite frankly, 2 boards is not going to cut it, you know? And from quickly, that's the guy that we expect to get 10 to 15 points a night. And it was just a terrible night shooting from the field for him. He gives us 5 points and nobody else kind of steps up. Yes, Josh Hart gives us 12, but it's not enough. We needed more on this night, and we did not get it from the Knicks bench. For the most part, this was a tightly contested game, and the Knicks were in it for the majority of it until they weren't. You know, they went down by double digits in that third quarter, and then they fought and clawed their way back and took the lead again in the fourth quarter, and then it's kind of just like Miami wanted it more. They were able to make more crunch time plays. Nobody stepped up in that fourth quarter and said, you can rely on me. It definitely wasn't Julius Randle. RJ Barrett was having a pretty good game, but it's like he became non-existent in that fourth quarter as well. And there just weren't enough people who were determined to make the play that the Knicks needed. So the Knicks ultimately lose 120 to 127. And honestly, I'm not even mad at this loss. I'm really just mad because I want to see them win. But it's understandable. This is a good Miami team. Again, they're finally getting 100% healthy, getting all their players back. Jimmy Butler is playing some of the best basketball he's played all season. So it's not a loss where I'm scratching my head and I'm upset at the fact that they lost. It's just I'm upset because I don't want to see them lose. But I am upset that, come down crunch time, nobody really stepped up and took control of it. I don't know what was wrong. Usually that's, Julius Randle time, and it just wasn't on this night. He wasn't having a terrible night at all in comparison to other nights he's had recently from the field. 7 of 16, which isn't bad at all. But, fourth quarter came around and it's like he was very passive. Nobody on the Knicks was saying, get out of my way, let me put the ball in the basket. And, sometimes it's okay because maybe you do want to play more of team basketball, so there's not any one player that the opposing team can focus in on. But even playing that team basketball, moving the ball around, it wasn't like a plan type of thing. It just looked like everybody was moving the ball, trying to put it on somebody else to take the shot, to make the play, to do something. And then we get low into the 24-second shot clock, and then we have to force up a shot. Some of them went in, but most of them did not. So that's how the cookie crumbles. You win some, you lose some. That's an L I can live with. But this loss against Orlando, that one just simply doesn't sit right with me. Here you have the New York Knicks, a team that's fighting for positioning in these playoffs that's upcoming. You are a team poised to make it into the playoffs. You're looking to clinch a spot, and you're facing the Orlando Magic. No beef against the Magic. In a couple years, this is going to be a really good team. Paolo Banchero, he looks like he was very much worth that number 1 overall pick. But right here, right now, this is not a team that should have given you the fits that it did the other night. I don't care that it's a road game in Orlando. You as veterans, as guys, again, poised to make a run at the playoffs. You should be beating these guys, these young boys, handily. And that simply is not what happened this night in Orlando for the Knicks. And it's so frustrating. Here we have the Knicks coming off that 9-game win streak. They had a legitimate chance at not even catching up to Cleveland in the 4 seed, but possibly even catching up to Philly in that 3rd seed, right? They had a top 5 easiest strength of schedule remaining. I don't remember exactly where they fell, but they were top 5 easiest strength of schedule. They're losing these games, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, we want to compete with the Bostons, we want to compete with Miami, and we want to win those games. At least during that stretch, we want to win those games. But we play these teams, the shorthanded Timberwolves. We play not Miami. Miami's a good team. We play Orlando. We play the Hornets, who don't have their best player in LaMelo Ball, and we lose to these guys, and it's just unbelievable. Too many people having off nights. Randle, you take away that 57-point performance from last week and you take all the other games surrounding it, and it's a lot of poor shooting nights from Randle. I'm going to touch a little bit more on Randle in a little bit, but it's been a lot of bad shooting nights. Don't even get me started on what he's shooting from 3-point in this stretch of 3 and 6 that the Knicks are currently in. But we take a look, and it's not just Julius on this night against the Magic. It's also RJ Barrett. He, on the other hand, has been doing pretty well as of recently. He's been saying, you know what, this 3-ball isn't working for me. Let me just put my head down and go to the basket. And I like that. He tends to fall in love with that shot, or at least he has earlier in the season. But as of late, he's been saying, you know what, it's not working for me. I'm going to get to the basket, get myself a more makeable shot. But that field goal percentage has gone up. The lone bright spot in this game is that we have our 2 young players in Quick and Grimes kind of carrying us to any sort of chance of being able to win this game. But at the end of the day, you've got Julius off, you've got RJ off. Brunson's injured. We're still looking to get some more clarity on what it is. It's a sprained right hand. It doesn't sound to be serious, but also not seeing anything that says he's going to be good to go for the next game. But the point being, Brunson's out. So now we're short one star, and then our two other main guys are just playing terribly this night. We have to rely on Quickly. We have to rely on Grimes. First time all season that he scored 20 in back-to-back games. So we can take that with a grain of salt because we're losing still to the Orlando Magic, and it's honestly just inexplicable. It's unacceptable as a team that I had high hopes for. It's hard to see them lose to inferior talented teams and then be able to fully buy in to what they're doing. Yes, I love the change in culture. I love what they're building, but man, it's just some of these losses are tough to swallow. I mean, you look at that fourth quarter and it's like so many things just went wrong for the Knicks in this fourth quarter. Let's start with the 3-point. All game, they defended the 3-point very well against the Magic, but all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, it just didn't work out for them anymore. They gave up 40% on the game against the Magic from that 3-point line, but in the fourth quarter, it's like the Magic couldn't miss, and it's also like the Knicks had no interest in defending them at that 3-point line. A lot of open shots, a lot of, I'm trying to find a nice way to say it, but a lot of half-hearted contests at that 3-point line against the Magic in the fourth quarter. It's crazy, but I guess I should be happy because in this game, it was only 40% from three for the Magic, but in the games against the Heat and the Timberwolves, those combined games, it was 57% from three that the Knicks were giving up. And it's just another reason that you can't take this Knicks team seriously. And then another thing, they just look tired. They look tired. I don't know what it is, but they came out in that fourth quarter and it's like they just didn't have any energy. I get it that, the Magic are a younger team, but the Knicks aren't like the oldest team in the NBA or anything like that. They just looked exhausted for a lot of that fourth quarter. When they needed that boost, there was nothing there. And it's New York. Whatever. And then another thing we just have to talk about, Julius Randle. I mean, it's kind of becoming an issue. This is like, 3-4 games in a row now he's gotten a technical. We saw it against the Clippers where he's fighting with teammates. He's fighting with coaches. And then in this game again, he's fighting with Emmanuel Quickly, who's just trying to get him away from the ref. Again, he loves fighting with these refs and being mad and upset and complaining about every call that he's not getting. I get it. Sometimes you want that call and it's just not there. You see it every night. But it's just with Julius Randle. He just takes it to this next level. And that explains why he's strung so many technicals together in so many games. And you're fighting with everybody that you don't need to be fighting with. We thought we were done with this version of Julius Randle. And here we are in probably the most crucial point of the season. He's showing that ugly head again. And it's like, it's tough because Julius Randle is a big part of the reason that we're even at this point that we're in, where we're in playoff position. But it's just like, come on, man. You got to be able to keep your composure. You're supposed to be the leader of this team. You're supposed to be the guy who's, steering other people away from doing the silly things like arguing with refs about calls you didn't get. I've never seen really where a player argued with the ref and then right then and there the ref is like, oh, you made a great argument and I changed my mind. That's not what happens. Like, let it go and focus on playing defense. So many times too, you see he's arguing with the ref instead of hustling back on D, and it's giving away easy points to the opposing team. And it's just like, get over it, bro. Come on. Julius Randle. He is, I don't want to say the most important part because, it probably could go to Brunson, but he's definitely one of the most important pieces in the Knicks' success. So it's like he needs to get on track before the Knicks can get back to their winning ways and hopefully get hot before getting into the playoffs, And honestly, it's a real chance that they might end up in that play-in tournament as opposed to, comfortably waiting to see, well, they wouldn't be waiting. They'd probably be a 5th or 6th seed, but comfortably waiting and not playing in a play-in tournament and getting a couple extra days rest before starting their playoff run. I don't know how much of a run it's going to be. It's looking like a first-round exit if I'm being honest, okay? But the past is the past, and hopefully we could leave it there. Knicks get their next chance at a W at home against Houston on Monday. They get a nice extended little break. So I don't want to see tiredness. I don't want to see them coming out lethargic in that first quarter. Please, yes, this is another team that you should beat. And I want to feel confident in saying that. But the last couple of times where they should have beat their opponent, we see how that ended. So this is a Houston team. They've been playing very well as of late. They've been beating teams that they shouldn't be beating, and they're just playing carefree right now because they don't really have anything to play for. So it's just out there having fun, and that kind of makes teams dangerous at this point in the season. They're playing upsetter right now. You know, they're looking to take down as many teams as possible. Yes, I know some teams are still got in the back of their heads. Let's tank for Wemby. You know, I kind of wish the Knicks were in that position. Blasphemous, whatever. But this is a generational talent. Quick little ramble about him. I would love it if there was some way New York could get him. But dreams and wishes probably not going to happen. Back to the point. Knicks, I hope you guys take this extended break to do what you need to do to get your minds right. Julius, get your mind right. And, you know, don't come out lethargic, you know. Don't sleep on Houston. They've been beating teams that they're not supposed to beat. You're not necessarily a team that they're not supposed to be. You're possibly a team that it's very well within reason that the Rockets can beat you. So please come out, take care of business, get a W, do what you have to do so we don't end up in that play-in tournament. But for now, this has been Knicks Digest. Please, as usual, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and wait for the next one. Tune in. We'll probably do a recap on that Houston game, or might see you before then. Nonetheless, thanks for watching.